Hi, hello everyone, it's me again, Ma'am Mariel, and welcome to my channel. So for this video ay ituturo ko sa inyo kung paano ba mag-divide ng decimals to whole numbers and vice versa. And of course, dividing decimals to decimals, alright? So merong nag-request nito sa akin and gagawa natin siya ng video ngayon kasi marami din ang nahihirapan dito sa pagdi-divide ng decimals. Not knowing na napakasimple niya lang talaga, okay? So, bago natin simulan, please wag mo muna kalimutang mag-subscribe, i-like itong video, and i-hit mo na rin yung notification bell para palagi kang updated sa mga video ni Ma'am Mariel. Alright? So, let's begin. So, how are we going to divide decimals? Alright? So, for example, number 1, we have 5 divided by 0.80. So, first, ilagay nyo muna siya sa ganito na form. So, we have 5 divided by 0.80. So, minsan, may na-encounter ako na nagkakabaligtad sila sa paglalagay ng ganito. Nilalagay nila ito dito sa loob and ito dito sa labas, which is wrong. Ang pagsusulat sa ganitong form is 5, ito siya, divided by 0.80. Okay? So, remember, meron tayong tinatawag na divisor and meron din tayong tinatawag na dividend. Itong nasa loob, siya ang ating dividend. Ayan. And ito namang nasa labas, siya yung tinatawag nating divisor or siya yung magdi-divide kay dividend. Alright? So, what are you going to do is, the first goal is to make the divisor a whole number. Gagawin nating whole number si divisor. Alright? So, paano natin gagawing whole number si divisor? Take a look at that decimal point. Yan. So, yung decimal point natin is nandito siya sa pagitan ni 0 and 8. Alright? And, what are we going to do to make it a whole number is to move the decimal point from left to right. Left to right. Okay? So, take a look at this. We have 1, 2. Okay? So, yan. Pag na-move nyo na yan, nandito na yung decimal point nyo and magiging whole number na yan. So, pwede nyo na siyang isulat as ganito. 80. Alright? And then, kung ilang decimal point ang minove nyo dito sa ating divisor, ganon kadaming 0 ang ilalagay nyo dito kay dividend. So, nag-move tayo ng dalawang decimal point kay divisor. So, what are we going to do is to put 2 zeros. So, ulitin natin kung gaano kadaming moves ang ginawa nyo dito kay divisor para maging whole number, ganoon kadaming zeros ang ilalagay nyo dito kay dividend. So, meron na tayong 500 divided by 80. Alright? So, ganun lang siya kasimple. And, we come up with the answer as 6. Ay, 6 na yung ating sagot. So, we have 6 times 80 is equal to 480. And then, 500 minus 480 is equal to 20. Alright? And then, right after that, since si 20 ay hindi maidi-divide ni 80, what are we going to do is to put 0 or add lang tayo ng 0. Yan. So, ibaba din natin yung 0. And, kung saan ka nag-add ng 0, remember, ayan, may decimal point na dyan, no? Hindi pwedeng mag-add ka ng 0 doon, tas walang tuldok dito. So, kailangan merong tuldok dyan. And, wag nyo kalimutan na itong decimal point na to is itataas nyo din dito sa sagot. Okay? Ganun lang kasimple. So, we have 200 divided by 80. Hanap ulit tayo ng pwedeng i-times kay 80 para makuha natin si 200. So, pwede si 2. Tama? Since 80 times 2 is equal to 160. Alright? So, we have 2. And then, 2 times 80, of course, 160. And then, 200 minus 160 is equal to 40. Right? And since hindi pa siya 0, okay? So, para lang din tayo nag-divide ng whole number, okay? So, 40, add pa tayo ng isa pang 0. And hindi nyo na kailangan maglagay pa ng decimal point dito sa gitna, okay? So, dito lang siya dun sa unang pag-a-add nyo ng 0 after doon sa whole number. Okay? So, we have to bring down 0. So, 400 divided by 80 is equal to 5. Automatic yon. Kasi 5 times 80 is equal to 400. 400 minus 400 is equal to 0. And then, the answer is 6.25. So, we have 5 divided by 0.80 is equal to 6.25. So, ganun lang kasimple. Moving on to the next example, we have 60 divided by 0.20. So, what are we going to do is ilagay muna ulit natin siya sa ganitong form. Ayan. So, we have 60 as our dividend divided by, 60 divided by 0.20. Okay? So, the first goal is to make the divisor a whole number. Okay? Make this a whole number. Ito yung divisor natin, yung nasa labas. So, don't forget that. Alright? So, move tayo from left to right. We have 1, 2. 2 moves. So, we have 2 moves. Meaning to say, dalawang 0 din yung ilalagay natin dito kay dividend. Since meron tayong 2 moves dito. So, dalawang 0, 1, 2. And then, that's it. Magiging ganito na siya. 6,000 divided by 20. Okay? So, naging whole number and naging 6,000 siya. Itong 60 natin. 6 divided by 20, hindi pwede, no? Since mas maliit si 6 kesa kay 20. So, sama na natin si 0. Ayan. 60 divided by 20 is 3. So, we have 3 times 20 is equal to 60. And then, 60 minus 60 is 0. Alright? And meron pa tayong dalawang 0 dito. Meaning to say, is, i-bring down lang natin yung isang 0. Yan. Since 0 na yun dito, no? So, hindi na natin siya ilalagay. So, 0 divided by 20 is equal to 0. 0 times 20 is 0. Okay? And then, meron pa tayong isa pang 0. Ibaba ulit natin yan. And 0 divided by 20. And always remember, 0 divided by any number is equal to 0. Okay? So, 0 divided by 20 is 0. And 0 times 20 is equal to 0. Ayan. So, 0 minus 0 is equal to 0. Meaning to say, okay na siya. And the answer is 300. So, we have 60 divided by 0.20 is equal to 300. So, ganun lang kasimple. Next is the division of decimals to whole numbers. Alright? So, for example number 1, we have 0.80 divided by 5. Kung napapansin nyo, pinagbaliktad lang natin yung example ko kanina sa dividing whole numbers to decimals. Ngayon naman, dividing decimals to whole numbers. So, ganun pa din yung given. Okay? We have 0.80 divided by 5. Okay, wag kayo malilito dun sa kanina, okay? So, in example ko lang is, same lang din ng kanina. Basta, palaging yung unahan natin, siya yung magiging dividend nyo. And itong padalawa, siya yung magiging divisor. Okay? Remember, ito, palaging nasa loob. And itong padalawa, palaging nasa labas. Okay? So, tingnan nyo yung ating divisor. Whole number na siya, no? So, you have nothing to do about it. Wala ka nang kailangang galawin. Yan na yan. I-divide na lang natin sila. Paano? Tingnan natin yung dividend. We have 0.80. So, yung ating decimal point is nandito. So, the first thing to do is ilagay nyo muna yung decimal point. Palagi lang silang magkatapat sa quotient. Yan. Yung quotient, siya yung answer sa division, okay? So, dito, itatapat nyo lang yung decimal point palagi. And then, divide as if you divide a whole number. Para lang kayong nagdi-divide ng whole number. Okay? Since 0 divided by 5 is 0, so lagay nyo lang dyan yung 0. Okay? And wala na kayong gagawin dyan. Sa 0, move on na kayo kay 8. Okay? So, we have 8 divided by 5 is 1. Tama? And 1 times 5 is equal to 5. Okay? So, we have 8 minus 5 is 3. And then, bring down 0. Basta magdi-divide lang kayo na parang whole number. As long as whole number na yung inyong divisor, ang gagawin nyo na lang is itapat yung decimal point ng inyong dividend doon sa inyong quotient. Ito yung ating quotient. Okay? So, we have 30 divided by 5 is equal to 6. Right? So, 6 times 5 is equal to 30. And then, yan. There we have it. We have 0.80 divided by 5 is equal to 0.16. Ganun lang kasimple ang pagdi-divide ng decimal to whole number. Okay? For our next example, we have 0.12 divided by 60. And what are we going to do to divide decimals by a whole number is just that itong ating divisor, as you can see, kagaya lang din ng number 1, ang divisor natin ay whole number na. So, wala na tayong gagawin sa kanya, okay? Take a look at the dividend. We have 0.12. And ang decimal point natin is nandito. So, di ba? The first thing to do is ilagay natin yung decimal point dito sa katapat kay quotient, okay? So, laging sa tapat lang, no? And then, next, magdi-divide lang tayo na parang whole number. Ganun lang. So, we have 0 divided by 60 is equal to 0. Alright? And then, 0 times 60 is 0. So, wag na natin siyang ilagay. Move on na tayo kay 12. Nag-shortcut na lang tayo. So, pwede nyo namang ilang method. Pwede nyo i-times pa din to dito. And then, you put 0 in here. And then, subtract. So, ganun pa rin. I-bring down nyo din yung 12, no? And then, we have 1. So, si 1 hindi kayang i-divide ni 60, alright? And kahit pagsamahin pa natin si 1 and 2, hindi sila kayang i-divide ni 60. Tama. So, what are we going to do is to put another 0. So, it will become 120. So, we have 120 divided by 60 is equal to 2. Alright? So, dito nyo itatapat syempre sa tapat ng 0. We have 2 times 60 is equal to 120. And then 120 minus 120 is 0. Okay? But we are not yet done with that. Kasi as you can see, meron tayong dalawang space dito. Diba? If that happens, ang gagawin nyo lang is lalagyan nyo lang sila ng 0. Okay? Kung ilan yung nandito, ganun din dito, no? Lalagay nyo lang yung 0. Therefore, 0.12 divided by 60 is equal to 2 thousandths. Okay, so lagay pa tayo ng isa pang example. We have 0.3 divided by 15. So, we have 0.3 divided by 15. Alright? And then, as you can see, whole number na siya. Okay, kagaya lang din nung kanina. We have to put the decimal point in here over here sa quotient. Dapat tapat, okay? And the next, divide like a whole number. You put 0 since 0 na yung katapat dito. And then, as you can see, si 3 ay hindi kayang i-divide ni 15. So, what are we going to do is to put 0. So, we have 30 divided by 15 is equal to 2. Alright? And then, as you can see, yung space dito, diba, dapat meron din dito. We have to put 0. Alright? So, we have 2 times 15 is 30. 30 minus 30 is equal to 0. So, ganun lang kasimple. 0.3 divided by 50 is equal to 0.02 or 2 hundredths. Moving on to dividing decimals with another decimals, we have 3.60 divided by 1.5, alright? So, what are you going to do is, syempre, lalagay na natin siya sa ganitong form. So, 3.60 divided by 1.5. Remember, ang paglalagay is, itong unahan, siya yung magiging dividend, and itong padalawang term, siya naman yung magiging divisor. Alright? So, we have 3.60 divided by 1.5. And syempre, the first thing to do is to make the divisor a whole number, right? And from doon sa una nating diniscuss, what are we going to do? Enable for us to make a divisor a whole number. Diba? We are going to move the decimal point, right? From left to right, or left to right, okay? And since nandito yung ating decimal point, we have 1.5. So, move lang natin siya. Alright? So, we have one move only. Kasi kapag nandito na yung decimal point, magiging 15 na siya. Ito na yung and then, since nag-move tayo ng isang beses dito kay divisor, di ba? Kapag nag-move ka kay divisor, automatically mag-move ka din kay dividend. Ilang beses ka nag-move kay divisor? Isa. Okay? So, ilang beses ka mag-move kay dividend? Isa din po. Okay? So, we have to move this 1. Okay? So, the answer is 36.0. Okay? Ganyan na yun. And then, next thing to do is just to divide like a whole number. So, we have to divide 36 to 15. And 36 divided by 15 is 2. Right? And 2 times 15 is equal to 30. Ayan. So, 36 minus 30 is 6. And then, since meron pa tayong 0, and don't forget na itong ating decimal point ay ilagay sa katapat, okay? Dito sa ating quotient, palaging magkatapat kay dividend at kay quotient ang decimal point, no? Kapag nagawa nyo na yung process na to, okay? So, we have to bring down 0, and then it will become 60 divided by 15, so that is 4, right? And 4 times 15, of course, that is 60. Then, 60 minus 60 is equal to 0. Therefore, 3.60 divided by 1.5 is equal to 2.4. Okay? Ganun lang siya, kasimple. For our last example in dividing decimals by another decimals, we have 4.25 divided by 0.5 hundredths or 0.05. So the next thing to do is to put it like this. So we have 4.25 divided by 0.05 or 0.5 hundredths. Okay? And then the first thing to do is to make a divisor a whole number. Okay? Gagawin nating whole number itong ating divisor, di ba? So we have to put the decimal point until sa dulo, okay? Or left to right. So we have 1, 2. So nag-move tayo ng dalawang beses, okay? And naging whole number na siya. We have 5. And the next thing to do is, dito sa ating dividend, syempre, kapag nag-move ka dito, mag-move ka din dito, di ba? And ilang beses ka nag-move dito sa ating divisor, nag-move tayo ng dalawa. So, mag-move din tayo dito ng dalawa sa dividend. So, 1, 2. Remember, from the decimal point itself, okay? So, ito yung decimal point. So, 2 moves. Then, it will become 425. Right? And then, after that, you divide. So, we have 4 divided by 5. Hindi kayang i-divide ni 5 si 4 kasi mas maliit si 4. So, isama na natin si 2. We have 42 divided by 5 is equal to 8. And 8 times 5 is 40. And then, 42 minus 40 is equal to 2. Okay? So, meron pa tayong isa dito. So, we are going to bring it down. Yan. So, 25 divided by 5 is 5. And 5 times 5 is 25. And the result is 0. Right? So, the answer in 4.25 divided by 0.05 or 0.5 hundredths is equal to 85. Okay? So, ganun lang kasimple.